It's been more than 3 years since Apple released the iPhone 12 Pro Max, and during this time this device has been a great companion to me. After the launch of the iPhone 13 they discontinued the 12 Pro Max, but you can find it refurbished or even used in many markets. Now with the launch of iPhone 15 Pro Max the prices of the 12 Pro Max have fallen and they are being sold around $500. In this video I am going to inform you about my experience with the 12 Pro Max and explain if it is still worth buying in 2024. When it comes to the build quality, the iPhone 12 Pro Max still looks and feels amazing. It is made of glass in front and back with a stainless steel frame that is very premium even in 2024. The front glass is reinforced with a ceramic shield for extra protection while the back glass is matte and it is just as durable. In the first year of my usage I used it with a case, but this last year I have been using it caseless, but it doesn't have many scratches. Compared to the newer iPhones, the 12 Pro Max is very thin and easily manageable in the hand. It is also IP68 water and dust resistant, but of course this feature is legitimate if the unit hasn't been opened. The 12 Pro Max has a 6.7-inch OLED display and honestly after trying the new iPhones with the dynamic island it feels kind of outdated. The 12 Pro Max has the older notch which is wider than the one found on the iPhone 13. The display of the 12 Pro Max lacks ProMotion, but honestly speaking iPhones are still very smooth even at 60 Hz. Personally I am used to 120 Hz displays so this phone doesn't feel as smooth for me, but if you never owned a 120 Hz device then the 12 Pro Max is good enough. On the other hand, it is very sharp and it gets bright outside, and although it doesn't match the newer iPhones, I never had any issues using it even in direct sunlight. The colors are extremely well balanced and if the notch doesn't bother you then this display is still great. My iPhone 12 Pro Max has received iOS 17 and it works flawlessly. Scrolling through the UI is very smooth and I haven't noticed any lag so far. If you buy the 12 Pro Max now you are guaranteed to get at least 2 more years of updates, so it is still very future-proof. This device is powered by the Apple A14 Bionic chip which is still really good. Apps are open very fast and even with games I never had any problems. Despite the fact that it is a 3-year-old chip, the A14 Bionic is still very capable. The 12 Pro Max comes with 6 GB of RAM and in my usage it has never reloaded an app while I kept them open in the background. The base storage is 128 GB which isn't enough in 2024, but there are options with more storage. Now we shift our focus to the cameras and here we have to talk a lot more compared to previous categories. Let's start with the front camera where we have a 12-megapixel lens which in daylight takes great images. With faces skin colors are accurate but the dynamic range isn't the best since many times it blows the background. At night this camera decreases in quality quite a bit but pictures are still usable. On the back the iPhone 12 Pro Max has 3 cameras and all of them are kept at 12 megapixels. The main lens during daylight takes fantastic pictures with great colors and dynamic range. Although images aren't as sharp as the ones taken with the new iPhone 15s, in my opinion they are good enough for all situations. The ultra-wide camera is also really good, but in some cases it overexposes the sky just like the front camera. The telephoto lens is at 2.5 optical zoom and just like the other cameras it too takes great pictures with natural colors, but once again the dynamic range isn't that good. For the most part even at night these cameras are well balanced and night shots are sharp with plenty of details. When it comes to video recording, iPhones have always been amazing and the 12 Pro Max is no different. This device can record videos at 4K at 60 FPS with all lenses and the results are just fantastic. Although 8K isn't available, the iPhone makes up for it by offering excellent videos at 4K. Another area where the 12 Pro Max's cameras shine is with portraits since skin colors are accurate and edge detection is almost always on point thanks to the LiDAR scanner. Overall the cameras of the iPhone 12 Pro Max are still really good even though features like action mode or the high megapixel images aren't available. One more subject where the iPhone 12 Pro Max shines is with audio. This device, just like many of its predecessors, has stereo speakers and sound quality from them is amazing. They are very loud and even at the highest volume the audio comes clear. These speakers are also very balanced in contrast to before, where the bottom speaker was louder than the one found on the earpiece. When it comes to the battery life, honestly the 12 Pro Max never lived up to its expectations. When I first got it, this device barely lasted through an entire day, which was nowhere near compared to its predecessor, the 11 Pro Max. As you can see, my battery health has degraded quite a bit, and now it doesn't last me even till evening. After I bought the 13 Pro Max, I realized I was struggling with the 12 Pro Max since the 13's battery was much better. If you plan to buy this phone, the first thing you should check is battery health, since if it is under 90%, then the battery won't be that good. Charging, on the other hand, isn't as fast, but with iPhones you kind of expect slow charging. MagSafe is also present, but it is even slower, and personally I barely use it. So what are my final thoughts about the 12 Pro Max, and do I recommend getting it? Well, it depends. I have some friends that aren't into tech and use this phone every day without an issue. If you are that type of person that doesn't care about the latest specs, doesn't care about the best cameras, and doesn't care about the 120 refresh rate, then I think the 12 Pro Max will give you a good experience for a couple of years. On the other hand, if you are into tech and you want the greatest features, then I think an upgrade to the 15 Pro Max or even last year's 14 Pro Max will be a big upgrade for you. If you are an owner of the 12 Pro Max, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Thank you for watching, and please consider subscribing to my channel.